Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Purposeful Conversations with me, Emmy, here in the PAMI Code Facebook community. And I know that we haven't done these interviews for quite a while now because summer happened and I know people went on vacations and so on. I hope you all had a good summer. I hope that you had some time to spend to reflect on your life, maybe. I know that we've done a lot of reflection over these past couple of months with COVID happening, lockdown, and so on. But I hope that you had that time off during the summer break as well, and I hope that you're feeling refreshed and we're ready to take on September and heading towards the final quarter of 2020. But anyway, so we are back here in the Pamico Facebook community, and today we are going to talk about whole person beauty development, self empowerment, and becoming your authentic self. I know that in our community we always talk about fulfilling our fullest potential, embracing our true worth, empowering ourselves, and really understanding who we are and how we present ourselves to the world. So for today, I invited a very special guest. She's a beauty consultant and she's actually doing all sorts of, I think she's doing an MBA and in a degree, a master's degree in what was it, Anna? Was it,
Upper performance.
offer from it's like amazing stuff, but she's combining all these things around art and, presenting yourself, beauty and so on. So I'm really excited to have this conversation with her, especially when it comes to self-empowerment and beauty and presenting your authentic self. So without further ado, let's all welcome Anna Kelly.
Hi, guys. Thank you so much for having me today. I am so thrilled to be here. Thank you. I am a beauty consultant. I'm also a graduate student at Yale. I'm studying opera performance and also taking courses at the School of Management with the goal of eventually obtaining an MBA. I also received my bachelor's degree from Catholic University, and I received a degree in music as well as in humanities and liberal arts, and I have a minor in philosophy as well. So basically, let me talk to you a little bit about kind of what I do and kind of how all of these things are related to this whole concept of whole body, whole person beauty. Basically, what I do is I focus on bringing beauty into the world through helping others reveal their own beauty through beauty consulting, through creating art and bringing that beauty into the world through music, and then also really discussing and making sure that I'm helping people really come to the concept of beauty as a philosophy, as a way of life, as a lifestyle and a life change that is completely different from a typical lifestyle, whether that be, a mindset of positivity or whether that be a mindset of achievement or manifestation or whatever consider your general, lifestyle to be from a mental point of view, from a mindset point of view. I like to encourage people to take their mindset into a space of beauty, which means not only taking the time to look around you and into the world and notice beauty that is around you and that is already present in your life, but also to be able to see those spots where we have an additional opportunity to add some more beauty. So basically, there's a ton of philosophical concepts that fall into that. There's a ton of beauty industry concepts that fall into that, art concepts that fall into that, but all of those things are kind of connected through beauty. We have this relationship to art, to ourselves, to our community, to our culture, to our mental processes and facilities, and all of these are related through beauty. So I'm so excited to get to talk to you guys about this
I
today.
love that you are connecting all of this because we are bombarded on social media, all this information about beauty and presenting all sorts of products. And the thing is, what I've noticed with so many women, particularly those who have low self-esteem
Yeah,
issues and feelings of low self-worth, is that they perceive themselves as less beautiful or
yeah,
less attractive. But we understand that, yeah, there's something around mindset and how you perceive yourself,
yeah.
that's associated with that. So is this something that you help people with? Do you start with the mindset first or do you start with the styling first? It's like,
Yeah.
what's your process like?
Yeah. So the first thing I definitely start with is kind of an overarching view of well, what is beauty? And basically, I'm just going to go on a little nerdy spiel for a second
Oh, I
here.
love that. Let's
Right?
go for
Me
it.
too. Basically, beauty has been considered for a long time in classical studies and academia as a philosophical concept that's basically on par with other values such as honesty and goodness and morality and truth. All of these kind of like hefty philosophical studies of,
Virtues, yeah.
what is truth, what is virtue, what is, all of these factors that go into philosophy. And beauty was considered something that was just as important as finding truth, or just as important as finding, virtue or philosophy, like any of these concepts. And beauty is considered something that can actually help elevate our minds to help us reach those concepts. Because ideally, philosophy is like the first self-improvement course to ever come into the world,
Mm,
which basically says, how do we be the best people that we can be? What is our
yeah.
relationship to
So,
the society around us? And so basically there was this concept of beauty as being several things, as being an ordered layering of parts that contribute to a harmonious whole. And that means not only the elements of who we are as people, whether that be spirituality, family values, any of those core values and that core personality that we hold dear to our hearts. But at the same time, it also means our relationship between our inner world and our outer world that needs to have harmoniousness to be considered something that is beautiful. It means our physical harmony, which means, are we wearing horrible colors that clash, or something that just doesn't really express who we
mm,
are and doesn't match who we are.
there's a
Um,
disconnect.
there's a disconnect. Exactly. So the whole concept of beauty and looking at beauty as a mindset through which to view life is this idea of finding and creating harmony and within our own lives, within ourselves. We want, what brings us the most peace and happiness. And I'm sure this as a psychologist, is that having a sense of self and being comfortable with that sense of self,
Mm,
and who you are and what your relationship is to the world around you, to the people around you. That's when people notice that they're truly at peace, that they're
mm,
truly happy. And that for me was something that I was able to find through beauty. You mentioned that, you have dealt with many women who find themselves to be less beautiful because of lack of self-esteem or whatever issue they might be going through mentally. And that is absolutely important, is because they're not finding the harmony, they're not finding the connection between who they are on the inside and their exterior selves, because they don't know who they are on the inside.
so
So I
what
start
do
with
you think,
working.
yeah, what do you think contributes to that? Because surely you should know yourself.
Yeah.
How do we end up forgetting who we are? How do we
Yeah,
end up forgetting our authentic self?
absolutely. I think there are many things in this world that distract us from our authentic selves. I think life used to be simpler. Now we have all of the screens, now we have all of the distractions. And we really find ourselves, when we go back to, that 7-year-old child that's still inside of all of us. I like to think of personality as being kind of layers, like an onion. You have this core personality, and these are who you are. Like, these are the values that you hold deeply to your heart. These are, values that have been instilled in you from a young age, or values that you came to over time. But maybe that value is, I value human connection above ideology. Or
Mm.
maybe that value is, I'm a spiritual person, and my spirituality is an essential part of who I am. Or I am an academic person, and that's an essential part of who I am. These
Mm.
are all like, there are several. I like to say that there's a core personality that never changes. And even though the exterior of the onion, the additional layers that happen as we grow as human beings over time, may change and adapt, and there might be different iterations of ourselves, that core personality, who we really are inside, doesn't change.
Mm.
But sometimes we lose it, and we have to find it. And we find that by taking away those distractions, by going back to the basics, by observing beauty around us, and then by observing ourselves honestly, taking time really to journal, to meditate, to really find who you are and reconnect with that authentic self. And you know you found it when you have peace and when you have joy and when you have harmony beginning to appear in your life.
Yeah.
Because then you know that that's who you're supposed to be and that's where you're supposed to be, and everything else just falls into place.
I think it's easier said than done because
Yes.
there, yeah, as you said, there's so many distractions, and the messages that come to our mind, it gets too noisy, and
It
we
does.
sometimes forget our voice. We couldn't hear it anymore, and it gets lost in all of these
Yeah.
messages that we are receiving. So you mentioned meditation, you mentioned observing
Yeah.
beauty around you, but what's happening these days is, I'm not addicted to my screen. I do take time off from the screen, but I can see so many young people these days who are just glued to their
Yeah.
phones, and they're not giving themselves the space to just be with themselves, to reflect on what's going on, what they are thinking, how they are feeling, and how they are experiencing the world. So is
Yeah.
this something that you work, is this something that you work with your clients? Do you help
Yeah.
them to find the time, to find the quiet time, to just be reflective, and to observe peace, in themselves?
Yeah.
How does that work when you work with your clients?
When I work with my clients, a lot of people come to me saying, I need to redo my fashion sense,
Mm.
or I need better skin, or I need to figure out how to do something with my hair because I've never done anything with my hair. And when I have clients like this, I say, okay, well, what are you trying to express? And
Mm.
that's usually when people say, well, what do you mean by that? I just want better style, or
Mm.
whatever. And I'm
Well,
like, but you don't know what good style is, unless it's because good style basically has
it's
to
an
reflect who
expression
you
of,
are.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So the first step, in like, before we even do the closet clean out, before I make that customized skincare routine, before I show you how to do this cool new technique on curling your hair or any of that type of thing, because I make all of these videos personalized for my clients when they work with me, we take time to find silence. We take time to find silence because silence is the first spot where we can find beauty. And as a musician, that came difficultly to me because for me, I was like, beauty is in the music, right? Like,
yeah.
but there is a branch of the beauty philosophical society that says basically that beauty is found in silence. And that basically means something that is really hard for modern people to do. Like you were
Mm.
saying, people are addicted to their phones, people are overwhelmed by the screens, and people have a hard time being in silence. And some people are even made uncomfortable by it, like they must
Mm.
have music going or the TV on in the background. But if you really take time, and I challenge everybody listening to, go take a walk, or, a long shower with no music, or something where you are only surrounded by the sound that is not being created by you,
Mm.
that is not being created by something you brought into the space, like a cell phone or an iPad or anything like that. And just really take a moment and try to find like those core aspects of your personality. Where's that onion? Like what are the layers that are essential? What are the layers that are non-essential? And once you're able to find the silence, the words will come, the
Mm.
expression will come. And then all of a sudden, you know how to write about yourself. You know how to get to know yourself. You start to ask yourself questions and have a conversation with yourself. And people go, what? You're talking to yourself? That's crazy. No, it's not crazy, because the only way we have connection with others is through communication. And sometimes we forget that we still need to have connection with ourselves,
Mm.
and we need to have those conversations with ourselves. And I really think that an appreciation of beauty is a wonderful place to start, because it inspires not only this self-knowledge and this desire to get to know yourself, but it makes you hope for something greater than what you are and where you are currently. If for some people it's, looking at the Grand Canyon, for example, that yearning feeling that you feel in your heart, like, this is incredible, this is beautiful. What is this trying to tell me? It's trying to tell you to go back into yourself, because
Mm.
that is the space, that feeling, like that yearning feeling, that's the desire to find beauty. And we all have it within us. And once we find that beauty, we know ourselves. We are able to see ourselves more honestly, because we're not being distracted by low self-esteem or a lack of attention or any of those things, because we've taken a moment to be in the silence, to understand who we are. And then all of a sudden, it's so much easier to communicate that with beauty. It's so much easier to communicate that by, wearing a power outfit to an interview, or asking out that person that you've been wanting to go on a date with, or something like that. It empowers us to like meet those goals, because all of a sudden, like, we've tapped into that yearning feeling, that yearning for something greater, and we've allowed ourselves, it allows us to see the world honestly, because when we're yearning for something, we have to, make a path to achieve whatever it is that we want to achieve.
Mm.
And that gives us the motivation and the inspiration. And that's vitally important, because it's so easy to say, I want to do this thing, and then lose motivation along the way. And really taking time, scheduled time, to be in
Mm.
silence and to get to know yourself, and to observe beauty around you, and view beauty as that connecting theme for, who you are and what you want to say and how to communicate it to the world. And all of a sudden, everything
It
becomes
falls
easier.
into their
Yeah.
places. I think I love that you are starting with silence, because I've met stylists who would just go immediately with the skin tone and the color
Yeah.
palette and the style, but the style is like the trend, but it's
Yeah.
not necessarily reflecting the client's authentic self. It's not what they want to express, and eventually they would still feel a bit more, yeah, inauthentic, and
Yeah.
they're just pretending to be a fashionista when they are not. So it's great that you start with silence, that you really need to get to know yourself and express yourself through beauty, and giving yourself the permission actually to be silent. I love the part that you said, to have that scheduled time,
Yeah.
because some people say, oh, well, I couldn't find that time. It's like it's always so busy. It's always, you just need to find that in your schedule. There will, you need to allocate that time. If you want it to happen, you will find the time, if you really
Yeah.
want to, if you really want to make it
Exactly.
happen.
And even taking baby steps, even saying, okay, maybe I'm not at a point where I'm ready to set aside 45 minutes a day to like be with myself in silence,
Mm,
but maybe I'll turn the radio off on my drive to work today and
yeah.
just think. Maybe I will not listen to music when I'm in the shower. Maybe before bed, I'll force, when I'm drinking my 8-ounce glass of water, to get that beauty sleep. Maybe when I'm drinking that water, I'm sitting in silence. Maybe I've got headphones in so no one bothers me, but there's no sound. And I'm
Yeah.
just being present in
In that
silence.
moment.
And if you
Yeah.
can do it in nature, there's even more benefit to that, because there are so many writings and so many philosophical theories about the relationship between nature and beauty. But really what I think it is that we have this desire for beauty that is both our human desire and our spiritual desire. And I'm a spiritual person, so this works for me, and it may not work for everybody, but we are beings of this world. We evolved from this world. We are part of this world, and being in that natural environment allows us to reconnect with the authentic self in a way that isn't possible in an artificial world like a house or
Mm.
something like that. And at the same time, because beauty is like this philosophical concept, this spiritual concept, it also elevates us out of the natural world into what separates us as human beings from the natural world, which is our ability to reason and to think and to conceptualize things that animals don't necessarily have concept of, things like beauty. you know so having the opportunity to be in nature and to have that silent time in nature is going to connect us more authentically with who we are, because we are ourselves in nature. at most ourselves because we're in the environment that we were created in, but also at the same time, seeing the beauty of nature elevates our senses to that spiritual
Mm.
level, to that desire, that yearning for something greater. And that's really what beauty is. And that's really what we reflect when we're authentically ourselves. You know, I see so many people who told me, you know, I worked with a stylist and she told me I can't wear green, so I have no green items of clothing, but green's my favorite color. And I was like, but why don't you have any green if it's
If
your
that's
favorite
your
color?
favorite,
There are
yeah.
tones that we can find that will work for you. That's not an issue. Like
Yeah.
matching the skin tone and making sure that the colors match and all of that type of thing, that's easy. That's
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
easy work. The hard work is
The
owning it and
internal.
walking in and being like, I look fantastic in this green shirt and nobody can tell me otherwise, you
Yeah.
know. And that's what's really attractive. That's what lands us that dream job. That's what lands us that dream partner,
You
you know.
radiate that joy, that
Yeah.
you are presenting yourself as you, who you truly are, and that you're
Yes.
comfortable with yourself. You're not really
Yes.
hiding yourself, and you're expressing yourself
Yeah.
for, yeah, for what you want to share with the world. So I
Yeah.
find this conversation really refreshing because I'm someone who's not really interested in makeup or,
Yeah.
hairstyle and fashion, but I do appreciate beauty when I see it. I
Yeah.
appreciate art, I appreciate music, I appreciate nature. And actually, even for people who are fashionistas, I do appreciate it when they
Yeah.
say, "Oh my goodness, look at how gorgeous that dress is."
I know.
I wouldn't want it for myself, but I do appreciate it when I see it. So it's refreshing to have this conversation looking at beauty as beauty, not just
Yes.
from, from the trend, point of
Yes.
view, not
Oh
just
my
from,
goodness.
yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, let me be perfectly clear. The fashion industry, the makeup industry, the skincare industry, they do not care about whether or not you are your beautiful self. They don't care.
Mm,
They care whether or not you buy the latest product. And
mm,
so when we have this sense of authentic beauty, we are taking back our power from these companies that are dictating to us, this is the trend, this is the style, this is what you should look like. Oh, long hair doesn't work on you, or maybe you shouldn't wear that color or something like that. We're taking back that power. And we're not only taking that power, we're still using the tools that we developed from having these industries. We're still knowing what colors look good on us. We're
mm,
still knowing how to present ourselves well, but more of it comes from an authentic place. More of it comes from I'm going to do this because this makes me feel beautiful, not because you told me this makes me
mm.
look beautiful, but because this outfit or this piece of jewelry or this makeup look reflects who I am. And so I not only am I looking more beautiful because I'm being my true self, and when anyone walks in with confidence and power and joy and just, vibrance, they take over the room. It doesn't matter what they're wearing. They
Yeah.
could wear the best red power suit in the world, or they could be wearing like, sandals and a t-shirt and shorts,
And they
if
still
they walk
radiate
in
the,
with that
yeah.
presence. Yes. And that's what's so difficult to teach about beauty, because if I just went into, let's clean out your closet, let's get you the right clothes, let's get you better skin, let's get you all of these things, like those all might contribute to your confidence and your overall beauty. But unless you're using that exterior expression as like an expression of an internal state, like the way I look tells people who I am and what I'm about and what I have to bring to the table, unless it's doing that, then we're not taking our power back. We're not controlling the tools, and we're not controlling our image in the world. And so basically what I try to do is say, no, there's more to it than just the clothes. We're not going to get to the clothes right away. We're going to talk about first who you are. We're going to make sure that you have a concept of what beauty is, what real beauty is, which is it at its truest form. Beauty is harmony and authenticity. And we want to find a way to manifest that in your life in a completely customized way, because every person is different. Like a lot of people are like, oh, you're a beauty consultant, you must love to wear makeup. No, I spend 5 minutes on my makeup every day. Like I
Mm,
don't not spend more time than that because I don't like makeup. I love clothing,
mm. Yeah,
or
yeah.
I love skincare. I love lots of things. But I know how to use it as a tool. I know that if I spend 5 minutes on my makeup, that I can make a better impression than if I spent no time on my makeup and just showed up
Yeah.
kind of looking half
Yeah.
asleep, you
Yeah.
know. But I am using it as a tool. I am in control. It's not controlling me. I don't feel like I have to do it. I know I don't have to do it,
Yeah,
but
but it
I am
makes
taking
you feel
control.
something. And I
Yes.
actually did have a friend, well, she's still around actually. My friend, she doesn't spend a lot of time on makeup, but
Mm-hmm.
she would say she would spend a bit of time on makeup because it makes her feel a little bit more
Yeah.
fresh. Makes her
Yeah.
feel it lightens up your face, and it just
Yes.
puts her in a good mood. Even if it's
Yes.
just a little bit of lipstick and lip gloss, that's it,
Yeah.
and she's happy. And she's done. So yeah,
Yeah, and she is using that makeup as a tool to communicate herself, which for her is, I like makeup. I am communicating that I am a happy bubbly person with my like outgoing red lipstick, or I'm proving that I'm a dramatic person with my cat eye.
mm,
Or it's all about the image that you're choosing to show the world. And if the image that you choose to show the world is, um, like well kept but not wearing a lot of makeup or fancy clothes, then that's who you are, and that's
yeah,
fine, and you're still going to own it, because you're going to walk into that room and be like, here's me, take it or leave it. you know
yeah, I'm comfortable, I'm happy with this, so
yeah.
that's it. But
And that's
uh,
that's what beauty is. That's really what beauty is, like right there in your life.
wonderful. Well, it's such a refreshing conversation. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
joining us today. So if people want to get in touch with you, connect with you, where can they find you?
Yeah. So I am on all of the social media platforms except Twitter as wolbeauty.com for my website. My Facebook page is Well Ordered Life Beauty, and my Instagram page is also Well Ordered Life Beauty. I recommend joining my group, which is Beauty is Liberating, in which we talk about how to use beauty as a tool to communicate what we want to share with the world. And that's where all the good stuff happens, that and Instagram Live. So I definitely recommend checking it out. You can also reach out to me personally at wellorderedlifeconsulting@gmail.com. I would love to hear from you guys, hear your thoughts, hear what you're struggling with, hear what advice I can help with in terms of how to use beauty as a tool in your own life, and how to let beauty help you reach your goals, because you are truly empowered through beauty, and you see the world with more hope and more life and more beauty in it. It really is a transformative mindset. It's just an entire lifestyle. And I would love to work with you guys and walk you through it. And I hope that we can speak again, because I think we have lots to talk about.
Well, it's such a fascinating conversation, and it actually got me back to my philosophical, interests as well. With me being a psychologist, and understanding
Yeah.
what is beauty and the connection, beauty and harmony and all that. It's really refreshing to have this conversation, especially in this day and age when we're
Yes.
bombarded by all of these fluff and all
Yeah.
of these information, and so many young people and women who are feeling so down about themselves, and using fashion, regrettably, to hide
Yeah.
their authentic self, instead of actually
Yes.
using it as a tool to express who they really are. So thank you very much for this conversation, Anna. And for
Thank you.
those who want to connect with Anna, I'll put the details in the description here. Feel free to connect with Anna and check out her Facebook page as well. So all the good stuff is there if you'd like to know more about this. So thanks again, Anna, and thanks
Thank
everyone
you.
for tuning in. We'll catch up again next time for another purposeful conversations with me, Emmy, here in the Pami Code Facebook group. Until then, take care and bye for now. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.